We're on Twitch, but we're not live on YouTube and Kick yet. It's a good thing I noticed before we actually started. Okay, don't worry, YouTube crowd, YouTube Nation. I already tweeted out the link and everything, unfortunately. But now, when they're on YouTube, they will see that we are in fact live. All right, if you just check it again, yeah, yeah.
It's all intentional.
Good job.
Well, we still have to wait a bit anyways. We have to wait for the beginning ads to play, so you got a couple more minutes. Oh, see, now you got just pinged. You got freaking pinged in the Discord too, okay? That one, the link is live too, all right? So there's no delay on that one, okay? Get fucked. Get pinged.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. What do you have to say for yourself?
YouTubers get.
Yeah, this is all they get. This is all they get. They do they need anything else? What do they need? What do they need?
I don't know. I just feel like
Coda, it's time for you. You are now speaking directly to the YouTube audience and nobody else. Okay, what do you have to say to them?
And for the YouTube audience as well.
I never wanted all this responsibility.
What responsibility? There's like 2 people in Chef's chat maximum.
That's not true.
Damn.
That's not true. There are hundreds. There are hundreds of chatters ready to hit enter once we actually go live. Hundreds. Hundreds.
That's right.
Once we actually take off pre-show, okay?
Some of them don't show up, you know? It's fine.
No, they're there.
A lot of them.
It's just these platforms, they have issues with the counts once the number gets so high, you know? It glitches. It glitches.
It glitches?
Listen, we know our Kick audience is there, okay? We know they're there, all right? All the Kick viewers in the world are over there. We know this. We know this.
Who's your favorite set of viewers?
I had a whole week to look it up.
We know. We're huge on Kick, okay? We're blowing up. We're about to get a steak deal and everything. It's gonna be great.
Oh,
don't worry.
I love this all.
Ooh.
This manga is sponsored by Unfiltered Gambling. Go, spend all your money.
Hey! That's right. Do you like CS:GO skins?
No.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I was gonna say CS:GO to the Vols.
This is wild.
Anyway.
You mean anyway?
Is the pre-show over? Can we talk?
No, it's not over yet. You gotta wait a couple minutes. You gotta wait. We're not done yet.
Literally it's past 9.
Hey, what you got a bedtime you gotta go to? You got a bedtime? You gonna cry? You gonna cry? You knew what you were getting into, okay? You're locked in for like 2 hours, all right? At least. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Oh, Lord.
At least. Could be longer depending on how much you yap. Could be longer. Could be longer.
I don't yap. Everybody.
No, we know that's not
There's
true.
too many people in chat.
We know that's not
Get
true.
out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, you get it, Coda.
Akira. Leave me alone. Wait, guys, we gotta ping Coda and let her know it's book club time.
I didn't.
You're so right.
That was the one time, bro. Please.
It's book club time.
No.
Where's the sticker? There you go.
Help.
There we go.
Let Coda know, because Coda doesn't know that it's book club time.
Help me.
All right, is Coda in here?
More.
I think Coda's late.
I'm literally right here. Hello, this is Coda. This is Coda speaking. Hello, this is Coda speaking. Maybe you didn't mute me. Hello, this is Coda.
This is sad.
That's true.
Oh, no.
Sometimes we can still hear her voice.
This is intervention. We're here to help you. I think.
All right, we're ready to get started, I think. Okay, now that Coda's finally here, we can get started.
I literally have.
It took you so long, but you know.
Yeah, what took you so long?
We're finally ready to go. All right, everybody be quiet, especially you, Coda. Okay, it's time to take off the pre-show and we're ready to go, all right? All right. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. You can find your links to all these things at wolfborg.com. This week, we're discussing Rozen Maiden again, volumes 3 and 4. We're now halfway through with the series. But before we get into the discussions, let's go through each of our guests here this week. As usual, in alphabetical order, we'll start with Aztec. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aztec, and I should really change my letter to be later in the alphabet.
Base. You just take off the A, just be Ztech, and then you're at the bottom. Easy.
Z-Tech, I am now
Z-Tech.
French.
No, you're actually the technology for fighting zombies.
Do you have any recommendations for us, Aztec?
No, I haven't read shit this week.
Based. All right, well, thank you for that, Z-Tech. Next up, we have Lady Mistaker Galaxy. Introduce yourself.
I forgot I did that. Yeah, hi. I'm Marianne, or Anne. I don't really care. Recommendation. I'm gonna go with the death game thing.
Ooh.
Your turn to die. Or is it your time to die? I can never remember.
I think it's turn. The game,
The
the visual novel.
Yeah.
I think it's turn.
It's really good. It's like if Danganronpa wasn't bad.
Damn.
Hey.
Well, what if I don't think Danganronpa is bad?
Get good taste.
Well, my mom always said when you don't have anything nice to say.
Hey,
Don't taste it all.
All right, well, thank you for that. Next up, we have Rosenborg. I wonder who. Oh, that's me. Rosenborg, aka Wolfborg, aka Chaplin, aka the best anime book club host of all time.
Nerd.
Okay, here. Who said that? See me after class. So I would recommend Halo Wars. I started playing that again last night on stream. It's a very fun Halo real-time strategy game designed to be played with the controller too. It's very good, and you can get it on PC. It's good. Go get it. That's my recommendation. There you go. Next up, we have Shadal Man, who has changed his picture again just in time for book club this week. I noticed it was not this picture before, and you changed it just in time for book club. So, introduce yourself.
I'm Shadow. The thing I recommend is Pikmin. It's like an RTS, but if they were actually good.
Damn.
Hey.
All right,
Got
well,
him.
go check out Pikmin if you want to play a real RTS that does not shout all units, local units every 5 seconds, which is what Halo Wars does. Okay, all units. Next up, we have Shinoseki. Introduce yourself.
Yay. This is Shino, and my recommendation this week is Nanoha, Magical Girl, Lyrical Nanoha. You should watch it for cute girls making friends through the power of violence.
Violence. Oh, damn.
I love it.
Hell yeah. Go check that out. Next up, we have Sui Koda. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sui Koda. I'm cute. And
Please stop the voice.
That's
It's too late at night for this. Just talk.
Can't even drink it again.
Fight.
I recommend the anime Momentary Lily. If you like
No,
visual
you
effects,
don't. No, you
you like
don't.
this
You're
anime.
lying. No. See, remember, we talked in the pre-show about Koda liking bad media, okay? This is a new anime for this season. This is a new anime from Go Hands, all right? No, Koda, no. What are you doing?
Love it. I love
No,
it.
you don't.
Let
No, you
these
don't.
haters
Name one
trash
thing
your
that happens in
page.
it. Name one thing that happens in it.
Rainbow effect.
I mean,
Lens flare.
That's not what happened, but, you know.
But it definitely happened.
It's
It
just
moved.
happening to it, but it's not like...
it's a main event.
Do you remember any of the characters? Any of them?
Yeah, of course I do. Big sis.
All right. Thank you for your glowing recommendation of Momentary Lily. Next up, we have Witcherimia. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Arimium. I like shonen shit, but recently I have been just consuming too many mystery novels in lieu of Umineko. I finished Death on the Nile since last we spoke. I knew who the culprit was. Didn't know how they did it. I just knew on vibes alone. And then I also finished Crooked House, which she proclaimed as her one of her best novels that she ever wrote. Like she was just so happy about it. It was all right.
It's been a month. You still on the Umi Neko High?
A glowing recommendation.
But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. All right. So that's everybody. And now it's time to begin our discussion for this week. Rozen Maiden volumes 3 and 4. How did we feel about this week now that things have actually gotten into actual action now, as opposed to showing up and then immediately leaving? Looking at you,
I mean,
Suiginto.
that kind of happens still.
It does, but we actually had
that
other
mask.
things happen too. Okay, there was a lot of actual things
Like
that
John
happened. There was
Pierre's
developments
done.
that happened this week. Okay, there's developments.
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly? We had whole like things. Okay, listen. Okay,
Shadow, you can't just say allegedly as like you would a period at the end of a sentence.
Allegedly.
he's doing it like how Suisei Seki just keeps saying desu at the end of everything, so it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Des until volume 4, where it's Tokyopop and they have her say yes at the end of every sentence.
Not this.
Yes, yes. Just turns every sentence into a question saying yeah, yes, yeah.
I love it.
Kavi?
So could be. So, all right. We had things happen. I took notes of the order of events that happened, so I wasn't confused this week. Okay. We were introduced to Suisei Seki's powers, and at the same time, Sosei Seki's power, essentially, about how both of these two twin dolls are like dream gardening dolls, essentially. They have the power to, within the dream world, what's it called? Enfield, to find everybody's represented in the dream world as like a tree, which essentially is supposed to embody like their soul, I guess. And
Yeah, they're like
so-
a branch of the universal tree.
yeah, there's like a big world tree that everybody's things are connected to or whatever, and yours is within there. And our boy June's tree is a little tiny guy with a bunch of weeds surrounding
Oh
it.
boy.
It's not very subtle about what's something's going on with his soul. I wonder, huh? So we
See, I was kind of like, I thought there were two possibilities there, and it ended up being like the more obvious one. But I also thought it could have been like representative of him having like made these pacts with the dolls,
Oh, and
like
it's
it
destroying
being
his soul.
yeah.
That would be so cool, but unfortunately,
No.
I was listening to the Madoka Magica soundtrack while I
yeah.
read.
I was about to say. Unfortunately, I thought that he was just gonna be like, "Oh, I got weeds. I should just like actually pluck them because my tree is so small. I can literally just do it myself."
sorry, you're not allowed to unless you have Sosei Seki's shears. Okay, you need his
Yeah,
shears to be able to do anything.
I was
Until
I
like,
then,
also
yep.
sorry. I also, and I think this line specifically comes later, but we're talking about their powers. One of the absolute dumbest lines I've ever seen was in like them talking about each other's powers, and it was like, you can't kill with only shears.
Yeah, I was like, "What do you mean?" I literally
Have you
thought.
played Clock Tower?
I was gonna say yeah, this is
Have you seen Hot Fuzz?
this was like
Oh, just here.
this was before we got into the Tokyopop memes of things, right? They were doing several things wrong with the fan translation thing before we even got to the Tokyopop thing, where just words were not the correct words to be used. That one was just very clearly they're supposed to be saying shears aren't the only thing you can kill with. Because then they were going
Which you
in to
need
explain
both.
you can kill with the gardening water can that
watering.
Suiseki has
Yeah.
too. You can kill with that too.
Yeah, it like made more sense in the context of what came after,
Right.
but that line
Yeah,
stuck out so
right.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, it seemed pretty easy to kill with the shears.
All too easy, honestly.
I will actually admit that I kind of like what they ended up explaining, because in my head I was like, okay, the because both girls, so Suiseki Suisei Seki, God, oh my God, these names. Suisei Seki has the watering can, and I was like, well, okay, obviously you're here to nurture. And then Sosei Seki, she has her shears to trim or cut, and I was like, okay, you're going to take things away. But the explanation that the watering can actually rot by overwatering and therefore destroy a tree at the roots to kill, I was like, oh, okay, that does make sense. I didn't think about overwatering as a thing. I always think about like just like, nurturing. But it is true. You can give too much of something. So that was cool, actually.
I took it as sort of relating to like trauma, especially with June being like a pretty young character, and the way that he's got this whatever it is that actually happened, because I still don't think we know, unless I just completely missed it.
No, they haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, not yet.
And that idea of like him having because he went through these traumatic experiences, kind of tying it to that idea of like an old soul, and that thing that just gets said about people, and especially children, which is always really weird. And it's always like, oh, this child was deeply traumatized.
Oh, is that what that means?
Kind of.
They've been saying that about me.
I have some bad news.
Oh no. Oh no. It's over.
You thought a joke when I said this is intervention, Coda.
I will say, in the grand scheme of everybody's powers, I feel like Sosei Seki has kind of a big lead in the games. Him and her and Sui Ginto with the flaming feathers. So you got flaming feathers that you can just spawn all over the place, and then you have literal like shears. And then
wait, the feathers are on fire? Did I miss this for 4 volumes?
It's hard to notice, but they made a comment in the last week's reading where like the feathers would touch June, and he'd be like, "Ah, it's hot" or whatever. They're supposed to be on fire too, but we can't really see it as much because it's not in color here, I think. But I believe that they're supposed to be causing a fire, or they're supposed to be doing damage of some kind of way with the feathers.
The feathers can like cut, and they also can be on fire.
Yeah. Okay. But what I mean to say is like they seem like they're fucking already overpowered. They kind of
they're pretty strong. So when they teamed up, it was like crazy.
Because okay, I like you when they were like Suisei Seki's thing is, the watering can also be used to kill them through overwatering them. But to me, that seems like the difference between that and the shears is that theirs takes longer to actually have an effect. As opposed to shears, which are immediate. Shears are like immediate. So, I mean, that one also has the unfortunateness of like, I don't know if I would necessarily say they were designed to be fighting against each other. They're kind of designed because they're twins to be working together. It just so happened in this instance that they ended up fighting against each other. Although the nature of the Alice game makes it so that they would have to fight each other eventually anyway. So I don't really know.
Right.
Or not necessarily. Because like the point is eventually for them to all combine. So they wouldn't necessarily have to fight. One of them would just agree to absorb
like
the other one
or something.
Yeah. So I mean,
I guess
there's
more like a yin yang thing. Like they're both healing and damage, but like
I don't think the shears is healing.
Yeah, you got some weeds.
No,
No,
because
that's need to be pruned.
They absolutely can, because it's
pruning.
It's
Okay, that makes sense.
with like, I mean,
like the obvious thing is
read,
you cut,
like,
and watering can is the obvious thing is you nourish.
Yeah,
but they do both.
Right. Yeah. And like the shears.
You just have to prune things eventually.
That's true.
In order for them to continue.
Get rid of the
growing.
dead stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Or else it will kill the entire thing if you don't prune it.
And we also directly have the thing later on where, we have the cage with the arm in it, and they say, well, if we had the shears, we could cut it open, but we don't. So now it's a metaphorical thing we have to deal with. That's a whole other plot point that we have to talk about, that the arm situation. But
can we talk about the old man?
The old man who is the master of Sosei Seki currently.
I was like, dude, what's wrong with you?
A lot of things, apparently.
So we did learn his backstory. So after the whole confrontation with Sosei Seki, the conversation with Suisei Seki in the dream, finding out about Suisei Seki's ability, and then explain about Sosei Seki's ability. We have like a bonus meme chapter about the dolls changing out of their clothes, I guess, so that Nori, that's the sister name, right? Nori can wash them.
Nori.
Yep. Nori.
I didn't understand what the point of that chapter was.
June was just like, oh, they're dolls. They're so human-like, but they're still dolls.
Yeah.
Because he saw their ball jointedness and he's like, wow.
Oh, okay. I understand why. It's to establish just like what parts of their bodies look like, so we understand when someone loses an arm later that yeah, okay. So we're establishing that with that scene, okay? Because otherwise I was like, what is this scene about?
Why?
But okay, but it's fine. All right, so
do you think the dolls could rocket punch somebody in theory?
Yes.
I think one of them did. Well, not rocket punch, but Shinku like punched the fuck out of Suiginto later on.
I was like, that's amazing.
So
okay,
we had the bonus meme chapter about the
replace her arm with a gun.
Oh my god! Listen, that would be amazing. Listen, I think if June just ordered a gun online and just taped it to the taped it to Shinku, there you go. I think we win the Alice games. All right, order from America. It'll get delivered.
Just paint
It'll
a
work
rose
out
on it real quick.
Yeah. Guns and
New
Roses.
Mega Man
There you go.
spinoff.
Ah,
God.
There you go.
Boo.
So we had the bonus meme chapter about the dolls with the clothes. We also had a bonus meme chapter about Hina Ichigo accusing Suisei Seki. Oh no, Hina Ichigo is accused by Suisei Seki of trying to steal her strawberry, which we don't actually see. And based on what we've been shown about Suisei Seki in the past, she probably stole Hina's strawberry and then lied about it to people to get her in trouble instead of her. And even June goes to talk to Hina because Hina's like locked herself away, and June's like trying to go talk to her, and he's like, well, based on what I know about her, she probably did some shit. So he's like immediately on her side with the stuff. Which, by the way, they're trying to all make up at this point because Nori says we will not have hamburgers tonight unless you make up. It was like a specific type of burger, I think, too, and I don't remember what it was. But
I don't remember what it was like an egg
hamburger with a star-shaped egg on it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
Cookie cutter, and they fucking cut the egg or something. It looked like an egg. I don't know what it is.
So they have like a cute little moment bit where like Hina and June have like their own fortress at the top of the stairs, and Suisei Seki and Shinku are at the bottom of the stairs. They're like talking about like resistance, give up your position now. We have the suites surrounded.
we'll find you.
That's right. They took the fridge hostage. I'm like, damn, the food supply, you'll never last.
June tried to like dangle something as hostage. Was it Kun?
It's
like a
Kun.
Kun? Is it like a Kun figure or something like that?
Yeah.
But it works on like everybody, including Hina. so everybody just ends up like falling on the stairs, and then Nori comes up like, "What the hell happened?" And then everyone made up.
She screams.
But it was I highlight this because Hina has had fuck all else to do with the series up until now. So it's
literally,
like
and it's still fuck all. Just because she had that scene doesn't mean nothing.
she had like
my favorite part was the fight scene where it's like, and Hina's also here.
yeah, literally.
I'm here too.
And so he says like he's like, yeah,
yes, you are.
You are.
I was just like, shut up.
I can't wait for her to be like central to taking down the villain or whatever.
Oh my lord, can you imagine? I don't want to. I'd have to eat my words.
I think you're gonna have to.
No.
All right, so yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, the fight between Suisei Seki and Sosei Seki is interesting.
Yes.
In the regards to Sosei Seki is basically like, you're my twin, And it's so frustrating because sometimes I feel like I'm not my own person, basically, and I'm kind of in your shadow.
Which was
Like
paralleling
sometimes,
the story of what was happening with the old man master, who
yeah,
apparently
the old
also had a twin
man.
brother. And
He did, and he was like, I used my twin brother's name when he died because I I needed to inhabit him, but I don't know. I think
there's
he
It's called
said
trauma. It's called
there's
trauma, okay?
it was kind of confusing how they were trying to reveal what was supposed to have happened to him. But I think I understand it towards the end. So, all right.
Yeah.
Sui Ginto teams up with Soisei Seki for reasons to go and try to fight Shinku and all them. So they meet in the Enfield. They fight. They have the big fight. This is before we learn about the whole master bit. Okay, we have this whole fighting scene with Soisei Seki actually showing up, fighting the gang. Shinku loses an arm, very tragically loses the arm, and then Sui Ginto naturally betrays Soisei Seki immediately, was like, yeah, I don't need to deal with this anymore. Anyways, bye. And this is when Soisei Seki had to, out of desperation, finally form a contract with June, because there was a whole thing where Soisei Seki is able to use her watering can in dreams, can't do shit otherwise, like in reality, and can't seem to do anything to anything other than the trees in the dream, without forming a contract with a human to draw more power from them. But Soisei Seki also hasn't wanted to do a contract with humans because she doesn't like humans. But now she has decided to form the contract with June, so now June's got 3 dolls connected with him. Although technically speaking, hers is the different level than what Hina's is. Hina did not actually form a contract with June. Hina is like, I guess, contracted to Shinku.
But she has to pull from the same power source.
She does, yeah. I just wonder if there's anything. I just wonder if there's anything technically important with the fact that she doesn't technically have a contract with June himself. She has a contract with Shinku. Whereas...
I think she does have a contract with June because Shinku is like, you have to be my servant, but in order to do that, I think you have to make a contract with June. Otherwise, you won't be able to pull any of your powers, you know?
Well, so does that mean that...
But I don't think he has the ring.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is June wearing like 3 rings?
No, he's only got 1 ring.
Well, it looks like he's got 2 now.
By the Lord of the Rings.
Does he have 2 rings? Thanos? Like...
Yeah. I don't remember seeing him have 2 rings, even with Suiseki. That's another thing that
that's true.
Suiseki.
Well, so is it 1 ring that gets upgraded, or have we only just been shown him wearing 1 ring at a time? Because
I would say it's just upgraded.
Yeah, it all gets absorbed into 1, because if you think about it, when the dolls have to absorb each other or whatever, they're also into 1. So why would you have a bunch of rings on your finger?
1 ring to rule them all.
Yeah. It's it's like Infinity Wars. You gotta.
No.
He's June is basically Thanos, and we gotta get 7 rings.
Oh.
He just has to accessorize.
I would have loved actually if they were different rings, because I want to see like the strawberry design for
It does feel like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, truly. And
I hope it's just one of those shitty little plastic ones that comes out of a vending machine.
It's a ring pop.
Hina's is a strawberry flavored. Yep, strawberry flavored. Yep.
I love it.
I will say it is kind of a shame that we don't have a colored version of this manga, because I feel like it would be enhanced a lot with a lot of these scenes.
It would be really pretty.
Perhaps the 7 Seas one that's coming out, the omnibus of it, might have more color pages, but I wouldn't hold my breath on it. But I mean, that would be pretty cool if we had a colored version of it. I don't know if there exists one, like a fan colored version or something, but that would be very interesting to see, I think. But yeah, Shinku loses the arm, and then they are, I guess, able to snap themselves out of the Enfield once Soisei Seki forms the contract with June, because I don't think they necessarily like beat them in the fight. They just got out of the Enfield. So now they're back home. Soisei Seki has gone back to the master, and Sui Ginto is just wherever the fuck they are. If you're in the Enfield, that doesn't necessarily mean you leave it to the same place. You just go wherever your bodies were asleep, because technically they're all like asleep somewhere, I think, right? Or in
June's room,
probably.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So they come back and we have a
I
whole
think
little
they were
thing.
for this version.
Oh, okay.
Because there's like the two separate sort of entrances into the Enfield. Because there's also the mirror.
Yes,
There's the mirror, and then
Yep.
there's like the dream, right?
Yes.
And then
Oh,
Like
yeah.
those are different
there's
doors.
a separate, like these are different ways to enter the Enfield.
Right.
Where I think if you enter like through the mirror, you might end up in a different place. But if you enter through the dream, you just wake
Because
up.
it was, I remember, because it was explained to us that Sousei Seki and Suisei Seki have the ability to access dream doors to take you into the Enfield as well.
Yeah.
So they have the ability to do it through that, and it's explained to June that if you don't get out before her powers like go away, you're basically
You're a
stuck in a vegetative state in the real world.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Is that the right thing to say? Is that wrong? I should say vegetative state. I don't know anymore if some of the things that I say are incorrect.
Listen,
So
all
shall
right.
we?
Don't worry. The cancellation of you, that's next stream. Don't worry. That's what we got scheduled.
We gotta cancel Wolfborg first.
Schedule.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah,
No, we
cancel
don't.
you. Yeah.
No, we don't. You're not unionizing here, okay? No, you're not rising up against me. That's not happening.
Everybody club rise up.
Oh no.
You have nothing to lose but your chains.
So, okay, we enter into the Enfield. We come back. Shinku's arm's gone, and we have moments where Shinku's like, "Oh no, I'm perfectly fine, and I can even button my shirt like still like that." And then she's like, "Oh, well, this kind of sucks." And then she's like, "I'm imperfect. Don't look at me. I don't want my clothes back, even though you sewed it up again. It looks like shit now. I'm imperfect. This is very depressing."
She called Sui Ginto trash basically.
Yep.
She's like, you're busted up baggage. Like, what's wrong with you? And then Sui Ginto is like, oh yeah. And then then when Shinku lost her arm, now she's like, oh shit. I'm not perfect.
I'm garbage too.
Now I'm the garbage. Yeah, basically.
I'm the trash, man.
Hey, I've turned.
That's why we should never insult people.
Is that the
Else I
lesson?
might chop
Is
your
that
arm
the
off.
lesson we learned
That's
here?
the lesson. Be nice if you don't have anything nice to say.
But that in itself is an
Call
insult.
back.
though.
Full circle. Anyway,
So
that's true.
So because of Shinku's current state without the arm, June and Suisei Seki go back into the dream world, but through the mirror. We'll go through the mirror. And we meet the rabbit dude again, who's just kind of chilling out. And I guess they're trying to follow him. And we get like weird little flashes of, at times, well, now I know at times they were like the master's dreams, and other times I thought it was supposed to be like bits of June's past or whatever. I couldn't exactly tell what was going on with
Maybe
some
June
of it.
is the master. What a plot
So
twist
I
that
mean,
would be.
there was a whole thing later on. I don't remember when we get to it, where there's hints. I don't even think it's just like a direct. It has to do with when we get the arm back, about June definitely having some kind of power. But
Wait,
The
magic finger
because
touch?
the arm
reconnecting
reattaches.
the arm.
The arm reattaches, and somebody says no one can reattach a broken part. Something like that can be done only by father. Only a maestro can wield such magic.
Yeah,
and that
maestro.
human- yeah. So
that's
And
not, it's not specifically just father, but also it's Meisters.
But
it's
also
only,
he's
the
like
person
the
they
only
do.
one that they know.
Yeah,
at all.
so the dad
It's-
was the only one they knew to be that.
I'm gonna be honest. It's one of those things that makes me think like either June's dad, who his parents are weird and we haven't met, and collect weird shit like the mirror,
It's always that.
or
It's always
June's
that.
grandfather is the father or something like
It
that.
sounds very up
like-
the family tree.
And
I love
yeah,
my
Or,
father.
hold on, I got you very hypothetical. June's trauma is making the dolls, and he regrets it deeply.
Yeah.
He made
it's
the
possible.
dolls.
Subconsciously.
Oh yeah, and then it's like now they're real.
I
And
mean,
I didn't know they're manifestations of my trauma.
to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that trauma is something related to dolls. Like maybe he was made fun of for like making doll clothes at school. Like
Yeah,
that
because
was
he's such a good
cool.
sewer.
Oh,
Yeah, because he's such a good sewer.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh,
you
maybe.
need practice for that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised
you like
if it was something
fashion,
like
June?
that was seemingly girly and he was bullied relentlessly for it or something.
I guess it depends on if the trauma is going to be like sort of a general thing that happened like over an extended period of time, or if it's going to be like one single specific event.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think it would be neat if his trauma was linked to dolls in some kind of way or doll clothing stuff, but I don't think it will be because he seems like since we've had these dolls, he has shown that he does not understand dolls. I think like it took him a while to figure out, oh, I should probably put the key in to wind her back up again. Back when he got her. And when he like they're doing the whole bonus meme, they're getting changed and changing clothes scene where he's like looking at the ball joints or whatever. He's like, oh, so that's what the dolls look like or whatever. So
I mean, sure, but not every doll is a ball jointed doll that has a wind up mechanism.
Yeah, what if this is actually a prequel to Dress Up Darling?
Yeah, you know, it might be.
I was thinking that.
Gojo doesn't deserve this.
Yeah, there's part of thinking that too.
Fashion guy being able to sew anything.
That's amazing.
Those were the guy from that show. He was doing are they called Hina dolls?
Hina dolls.
Yes,
Hina dolls.
that was his thing. Is he came from a family that makes clothes for the Hina dolls presentations.
Yeah, and he has a Hina doll.
That's it. There you go.
Gojo's
there you go. Literally Hina Ichigo.
I was about to say, I was like, is this related?
In all of anime, there's only one man who can sew.
This is true. This is true. He's the most powerful maestro of them all. So,
Kill la Kill has one.
So we find the arm eventually through going through the end field. Apparently, Sui Ginto took it and just kind of left it in the end field somewhere.
It's just here.
In a cage.
But it's in a cage. Yes, it's in a cage. A metaphorical like cage surrounded by like vines and stuff, which is supposed to represent the current state of June's soul. And its struggles, I guess. So June has to push through a lot of his inner trauma stuff in order to even grab this cage for them to leave. And then they go back and they're like, Shinku, I got your arm. And Shinku is just like, okay, that's great, but you can't get it open. And also I'm fine with this anyways. I accept my imperfections now. I guess she went through like a whole arc when we didn't look at her at all. And he came back and was just like, I risk everything to get this for you, okay? And then she's just like, yeah, but I'm good though. And you can't get it out of the cage anyways.
He was mad too. He was like,
have you not had those moments?
I've managed to bottle all my emotions.
Yeah.
This is all in the course of like 3 chapters, by the way.
Yeah, so it's still in the cage. They can't get it open because of reasons related to June's current state of his soul, I guess. Feeling trapped, feeling, whatever you can think of with that kind of symbolism there with that, where the arm is trapped within. It's trapped within the cage, and they're like, it either has to be a change within June's soul that opens it, or they get the shears. But either way, Shinku's chill for now, so we won't worry about that for now. But we will have to remember, hey, wasn't there like a mansion nearby with a bunch of roses and an old guy in a wheelchair that lived there? Why don't we go there? And then we go there. I want to say, why? So Suisei Seki was with Sosei Seki and the Master in the past, together with them, and then she just left them, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? We don't know how long she was with them for, though. We don't know if this was like a recent pact, and she's just like upset that she's like, I don't want to be in a pact with humans, and then Sosei Seki is like, well, that's too bad because we're in a pact, so you can either get the hell out of here or
I think the thing that confuses me is she left there to specifically go find Shinku to go help them free Sosei Seki, and then it took June mentioning to Nori about like a rose garden mansion before they realized where the place was.
Right.
I feel like we could have skipped a lot of steps with that.
What What happened here is the writer realized they wanted to get this arc over with.
Okay, I mean that's fair. That's fair. We are like halfway through the series, so
Yeah,
also, she's supposed to be like 5 or 6 or whatever. Maybe she just got lost.
I mean, she threw her suitcase through the window. You know,
Yeah.
like I
She
don't
just made
know.
herself a projectile. She doesn't know where she
I don't
went.
know where she. Yeah, I would know where I flew
She
if
should
I
throw
launched
herself out of a
myself.
cannon.
this.
Truly. So she may not
I'm
remember.
just a lost
I
girl.
mean,
Desu.
really, she should have known, frankly, but
It's
you
fine.
can't rely on these dolls.
I just thought it was very funny how they're like, oh, the big
narrator.
master that we gotta look into and take down or free Sosei Seki from. Oh, he's just at like the mansion up the street. Oh, all right, let's go.
Literally. Right, and other there.
The mansion with the rose garden. I guess that
The
June
big
and Nori,
giant rose garden.
June and Nori had visited it, and it seemed like all the plants were like dead, and the place looked abandoned, so they called it like a haunted house, I think, or something.
And then he pissed himself.
This is very integral to the plot.
Very
Thank you for bringing it up,
integral
Coda.
part.
Thank you for bringing. That was
Integral
integral. I
part
definitely had
story.
that in my notes. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
I did my notes.
So we go there and we're like, "Hey, old man, do you know anything about these dolls?" Dolls? I don't know what these dolls are talking.
Yeah,
I'm an
he's
old
laughing at
man.
his-
Anyways, walk right through my door, please. Oh, you walk through the door? Psych! That was the door to the dream world. Let's go, motherfucker.
1v1,
Well, if
bro.
you're going to mention dolls, which I don't have,
He's like bringing all the dolls with them in like picnic baskets or like hidden away in like cases or whatever.
He's like, I got all these dolls, dude, and he's like, actually, I know you should know about the Didn't June say something? He was like, well, the dolls I'm talking about is the Rosa Mystica shit. Didn't he say that? And then he's like,
the Rozen Maiden line or whatever.
Yeah, or something,
Rose
right?
Mistaker.
Yeah, I feel like
Rose
I
Mistaker.
don't remember because I read it like immediately after
Me
our
too.
last club, and then I ignored it after. So I didn't take down my notes, but June said
No, that's
something,
fine,
and then the
that's
guy's like,
fine.
"So you know," and then
It was like he
shit
was
went
denying it,
down.
even though he was clearly saying all this stuff up until the moment like he realized he brought the dolls with him, and he was like, "Oh shit! Well, let's just kill them all now."
That's-
And then-
yeah.
And then he began the villain monologue where he's like, "Let me tell you my story as they fight, and then we will also parallel this with the troubles that are happening between Sosei and Suisei, because twins, obviously different sets of twins. We also have to have similar stories about fighting for their individualism going on."
That's twins, God.
So, okay. Here's how I understand the old man's backstory. Correct me if
Okay.
I am incorrect in this. It seems as if they were both brothers. One of the
Mhm.
brothers decided he would leave with this girl he met, go on a ship and just leave. And he went on this
Based?
ship, used his brother's the other
Yes.
brother's name to go on the
Yeah.
ship, and then the ship sunk and he died, but the woman didn't. Or as far as
Yeah.
we know, the woman didn't.
She got rescued, and then she moved. She lived her life out and remarried somebody else. Well, she didn't even get to marry that guy. So she married somebody else, and he's like, "I'm angry that you're alive and happy."
Yeah, the surviving brother's like, "My brother died going on that ship, leaving me to be with you, and you just continued on with your life, you bitch.
Yeah, and
I
didn't
will
even, like,
do
talk to us or
everything to
anything."
kill you, but I will kill you through the dream world, so you're a vegetable, I guess." I think that's how that works. I'm not exactly sure, but
I guess.
I
so
think
Men
just
will do
literal
anything instead of
men,
go
like-
to therapy.
Yeah.
Grandpa. What
And
you
he's
doing?
like, now
Take your
I use.
medicine.
And he's like, now I use my brother's name. Or
yes, that was the
something.
other thing. He's like,
Yeah.
I because my brother used my name on that ship, I did also die on that day when my brother died, in a sense.
Yes.
I will keep my brother's name until I can kill that bitch, and then once I do, I will be reborn as my original name, who's I didn't even bother writing down his name because I was like,
I
he's
don't
not gonna
remember.
be he's
Oh,
not gonna
no,
be
you're
brought up
not.
again at all after this chapter.
This
So I'm
man's
like, I
gonna
don't need to
have a
write him
heart
down.
No, hold on,
This
you
guy
say
was
that.
this guy was like not a very thought out villain. He like showed up to
No.
monologue his backstory for like the one scene, and then he's like also
And
went
he kind of defeats himself.
he just like
I
went
was-
past it pretty instantly too in the middle of the fight. He was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
I remember now. Oh.
Yeah, literally. And I was just like, what are you doing?
What did we do? What's
So-
our main characters accomplish here? They didn't seem to do much.
Okay, here's
It
my
was to-
question. He was
Okay,
like,
go
I
ahead.
remember now. And he's like, I remember I loved her too. Were they both fighting for the same girl and then she chose the brother?
Oh,
Is that what
no.
happened?
I
That
don't
was the
remember.
implication I got.
Okay.
Maybe?
Because
I
like,
guess so.
because
That's
like,
weird.
I couldn't tell if it was going to be one of those bits where it was like their brother died and then they mentally broke themselves into thinking that they were that brother that died, but it was actually because we had the same thing happen in Chaos Head where there was like twin sisters and one of them died and the other one convinced herself that she was the one that died or something. Because a
Why do I
similar
see
kind of
that
story happened
storyline so
there.
much?
But that didn't seem to be the case here. It seemed more like they were both in love, and I especially thought that because of the whole like name switching thing. I was like, that's a little weird detail, but
Weird,
all right.
isn't it? Yeah.
But apparently it didn't seem. Maybe it was, and I just didn't figure out. It seemed more like they were both in love with the same woman, but she ended up going with the other brother in the end, and the name switches just happened to be a thing. I guess it was just a detail.
I feel like I think that probably went over my head because I was so focused on his explanation to his brother of why he said don't go on that ship, and he was like, we have a company that we need to run together,
Yeah.
and I need you to like stay behind and like help build this empire with me, basically. So I was thinking, I didn't even catch the oh, God, I loved her too. If I didn't read it, I think, and I don't know, maybe I'm dumb, but I was like, oh, he's just like, well, it's not like I hated her. I also like that you were happy with, this woman that you wanted to marry. That's what I thought. I didn't think of it as like I wanted to marry her and we're fighting over her.
That's possible.
Maybe
Yeah.
like if it was a whole thing where they were fighting over each other, they definitely didn't go into like the details of saying that. It was more like I would have heard him say like I loved her too, and then I just thought in my head maybe they both loved the same girl, and then we were supposed to like imply. I think my whole complaint with all this is that we're just kind of casually mentioning this dude's backstory that makes him want to kill somebody to the side of everything else going on. We did not spend a lot of time fleshing this out. We've just kind of
really
built up this big bad oi for him to be like just crazy old man who lived in the mansion and who also happened to have a brother, I guess. And then like the moment we even started to fight, he was like, wait, no, we don't have to do this.
He's like, I regret. Yeah, he's just like, come on, bro.
I don't tell you.
This series feels a lot like the writer had one idea of like the death game or the death game. The Alice game, and was like, okay, but if we're going to do that, we're going to need like all of this character setup. And then they got really attached to the character setup and like just doing weird slice of life with the dolls. And then decided they didn't wanted to just skip all of the death game stuff as much as they could.
Yeah, I feel like Sweet Ginto is the only one who actually wants to win this. Like everyone else is like, let's end this.
Yeah.
Good, just hanging around.
Everyone else is just like, we can't let. I'm 5, so shut the fuck up.
That is amazing. Whatever.
I'm seeing I found excerpts of him having his like breakdown and realizing here. He's thinking, why not me? Why am I not loved? And Futaba is. Futaba being the brother. Futaba and I are two as one, but if I were Futaba, I remember now. I had loved her. And then I couldn't tell. It looked like somebody was asking the girl if she would wear black for the rest of her life, and she's saying like, "Yes, when the man I love died, my soul died with him." And then we're just looking at him too, and I'm like, we're jumping around to like different people talking in the flashbacks, but not making it clear who's supposed to be talking to whom in these scenes with them. But the main point that I'm supposed to glean from this, I think, is the whole like he was having his life being overshadowed by the memory of his brother and his grief over his twin brother, to the point where he was basically making his entire life over his twin brother as opposed to just living his own life, which is paralleling to Sosei Seki trying to break free from having to be one with Suisei Seki all the time.
Right.
so like they have their fight, and then like So Seiseki either loses the fight or gives up the fight. But it like in either case, So Seiseki is tired of being like bound to. So here's my confusion. The arc seemed like it was supposed to be all about how the two twins need to be able to be themselves and not just two people that are actually one. And yet it ends with So Seiseki giving up or the Rosa Mystica being available for Sui Seiseki to take over and absorb. Not that it matters anyways, because Sui Ginto just kind of yoinks it, but...
Literally. Steals the kill, honestly. Okay, she's like, at the top of my hate list currently.
Like the
I
Rosa...
was so proud of her when she did that.
I was like, finally, Sui Ginto's doing something here. I've come here to laugh at you. I steal the Rosa Mystica. Goodbye.
And then leaves.
I love.
All right, let her cook.
So the Rosa Mystica is like given up, and then Sui Ginto just kind of shows up as like yoink before Sui Seiseki can take it. The different names, the S sounds, I hate. It's like Sui Seiseki, Sui Ginto, So Seiseki, Shinku, and then Hina Ichigo.
I'm beyond. I just refer to them all by like their theme in my head.
Yeah.
You're like Crow Girl.
It's legitimately just feather, flower, rose.
Shears, water can.
Yep.
I didn't memorize these names, so I'm just like interpreting based off context who's on who's who.
Oh Lord.
Hina Ichigo is just the French one.
Of course, the Frenchies.
So Ginto was like yoink, and then this is where we're like, oh no, Ginto's about to absorb that, and then she's gonna kill us all. What do we do? Well, I'll have you know, June has a little bit of magic of his own. They didn't even realize through the power of realization of himself. It's like that. If you ever seen the Scott Pilgrim or read Scott Pilgrim, it's like the whole you've gained the power of confidence because it's like you'll have to deal with me if you want to hurt them, and then the cage opens.
Self-respect.
Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm. So like the cage opens, the arm flies out and just directly attaches to Shinku, and it's like, huh, how'd that happen? Whoa, nobody's supposed to be able to do that except for people like Father Maestros. And this boy is able to do that.
Slugs.
Oh yeah, she punches the fuck out of. Do we have a screen cap of that one? That's a good one.
It's in the spoiler zone. I posted it.
Okay, let me find it here because
Shinku got her right arm back.
I see
and
it.
She did with it was throw a slugger, and she's like, it's called a sacred bond. And she's just like, bow.
Yes, a sacred bond. I'll tell you something.
Bam, bam. Bam!
Not as good as the Battler Punch, but
we'll take it. We'll take it. The Shinku Punch, the Battler Punch.
I was like, damn, girl, that aren't working.
Like so with that, everybody kind of just everybody just wakes up. Everybody's in their different areas. So Seiseki is now just a lifeless doll again. Because the Rosa Mystica has been taken by Sui Ginto. But the master is still like a nice guy now, so but then we just leave anyway. So I don't know if he's gonna come back at all, relate to any of this. But for now, we just kind of go back home and then have like we have like a bonus meme chapter. There's an extra chapter in the middle. That's a literal bonus meme chapter. It's supposed to be Hina Ichigo going on an adventure to send out a letter. There's first it was like Sui Seiseki telling her horror stories about mailboxes, and it working on Hina because Hina's the literal toddler of the toddlers. Okay,
the toddler amongst toddlers.
And then Shinku's going to Hina and saying, "Hey, cats are terrifying. Watch out for cats. They're the natural enemy of dolls." And then naturally, Hina encounters a cat on her journey to go send out a letter. First of all, she decides to jump out the window to go outside as opposed to the front door. Nobody has taught her about the front door. So she's like, all right, let me just jump out this window up here and this will take me there. She lands on a cat, and then the cat takes her around And eventually she finds a mailbox, puts the letter in, and I think the joke was that the letter was just to just to June. It was a letter to June.
Yeah, it was just to June.
Yeah.
And then I don't even think he could read it when he got it. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "Is this some sort of
He's like,
subliminal direct mail marketing? What is this?" It was like very tiny, and this is from like when they were starting to like scan the Tokyopop releases, so I can't even see what some of the boxes in that are supposed to say. But I also don't think it's that important. It's just supposed to be. But there was also like a Tomoe scene, you know, where Hina meets up with Tomoe again, which Tomoe does have a role in this last chapter that comes up too. Tomoe shows up and it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a character, by the way. I was supposed to be important. You guys forgot about me for a bit because you decide to start another arc at the same moment. Like we're starting all these arcs at the same time and then just rushing through one of them to get things out of the way. We still have 2 other dolls we haven't met yet, but now we meet one more who has not directly integrated herself into the group.
Set up as like the villain, right?
She's
like the next, yeah.
She's
just an idiot.
Herself.
So okay, her name is Kanaria, and she's like I'm the smartest of the dolls. I will do recon on them all. She's one of those ones who's like acts smart and then just
she's a brainiac.
really fucking
so stupid.
Like girl failure, yeah. So she's like trying to watch them and is talking to like their little sprite. Which, by the way, I don't think we mentioned last time. They all have like these little like sprite things. Each of them has like their own sprite thing.
Yeah, man-made spirit or whatever.
Shinko's is like named Holie. Hina Ichigo's is like Berry Wish, Berry Well, something like that.
Oh god, that's right. I forgot about that.
It feels like there's so much more created for this series, and then they just didn't know how to show it.
Yeah,
they just were more interested in the slice of life stuff.
I get, you know, a part of that, I wonder if it's because they had these plans for a larger story, and then they were told you only get this amount of time, this many volumes to tell it in now, because maybe the first chapters didn't go as well, so they were told now you gotta wrap it up sooner.
All right, wrap it up.
I'm not sure what the environment was like for the manga magazine it was published in at the time, and if that is a thing that would have influenced this. But I get worried that might be more so what happens in the background with stories like these, where it feels like we had a whole bunch of lore stuff ready to establish, and then we had like no time to do anything with it, and parts feel awkward with that. But I can't exactly know for certain unless like we have like some kind of interview or something explaining that that's what did happen, I think. Because I have to assume that must be like have some kind of influence on a lot of these things. Like when you introduce a character, seems like they're going to be a big deal, and then they're kind of not. I'm talking, you know, names are important. Tomoe, who has not shown up again until now. We just kind of used her to be like, yeah, she used to be in charge of Hina. Okay, now June's in charge of Hina. Okay, I guess Tomoe stops by every now and then. Okay, now we'll have Tomoe come back and we'll focus on the fact that she and June were childhood friends, and we'll use this to slowly get us more directly into June's backstory too next time, I'm assuming more so. We did get more Tomoe development is what I'm trying to get at here, which is very nice. We got
a little bit
the development about how Tomoe is one of those people who is doing a lot of things with her life that she doesn't want to do, because everybody is expecting these big things of her, expects her to be the president of the class, just because the class voted for her to be it and the teacher wanted her to be it, and principal recommended her or whatever, but she doesn't necessarily give a shit about that. She doesn't want to be a part of all these clubs. She doesn't want to do all these things, but she has to, because this is what's expected of her by her parents and you know, all the people that know her and like look to her as like the status of what she is or whatever. So I thought that was like a neat little moment that we had here. I had like a little quote that I wrote from her that I liked. It was like, we tangle ourselves up in our expectations like we're caught inside of a cage, which is obviously also supposed to be, I'm assuming, related to whatever is affecting June's trauma. You know, because we had the literal symbolism of his soul representing a cage. So and it could be tied to something similar to what Ari was saying earlier about you know, perhaps he was made fun of for something that he enjoyed in some kind of way, and so like people have made fun of him based on their expectations of like how he's supposed to behave and things like that. I mean, he's already feeling like he's probably disappointing people's expectations of him by the sheer fact that he's staying at home all the time. He, notably in this chapter, we actually had the reference to characters calling him a hikikomori, and he's saying, don't fucking call me a hikikomori. I can go outside if I feel like it, and things like that. And he does go outside when he feels like it, but the problem is like something else is making him not want to go outside more so. So, so it was nice that we had Tomoe show up. It's a nice little detail that I'm assuming will lead to something bigger with the next little arc that we have that's probably going to take place more so next week. But Canaria is the next doll we have met. We're still missing one more doll, I think, because let's do a count here. Shinku, Hina Ichigo, Suisei, Sosei, Seki, Suigento, and now Canaria. So that's 6. So we're missing one more. I don't know if Alice counts as the 7th doll or
no,
if
Alice
they're like
has to
the
be
combined form.
combination.
Yeah. So we got one more doll after Canaria, and this is not a twin arc anymore. So maybe but we do have to have another.
Stop.
Triplets. I don't think Canaria is going to be like the bad guy. They're like one of the like.
She's not.
This is another case of like this is a goofy character. Yeah, they're going to be a goofy character immediately brought into their cast, and they're going to hang out together. But then they're going to be fighting the 7th doll, which will be a bad guy who's joining teams with Suiginto again. Probably this is my assumption.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the Alice games don't really have a lot of actual competitors. They are all literal toddlers who are very silly and ditzy and they just like they're like Suiginto and Sosei Seki are like the only ones that actually care. I mean,
Chapter
Shinku
16 was the best chapter for me. I was like, finally.
Shinku can lock in, but Shinku most of the time doesn't want to lock in. She just wants tea. Shinku is not advancing the plot herself. She doesn't really want to go out and do things. It seems like for the most part she just wants to hang out at home, and if people decide to fight her, she will fight them. But
Shiku seems like the plot is bothering her.
I just want to hang out.
Bothering her enjoyment, her daily life.
Well,
I just want my
tea. Yeah.
Fighting is temporary. The tea is eternal.
Yeah. So
Tea is
Canaria
eternal.
claims to be the smartest doll. Okay, and I believe it. Canaria is going to be the smartest of the smartest dolls.
She is not.
Oh, can I call
There's
something ahead of time?
always. What was that?
Can I call something ahead of time? She's gonna get into a rival with Hina because she thinks she's really smart.
Of course.
Ooh.
That's gonna be the
Probably.
worst, actually, of all the characters.
No, it's going to turn out Canaria actually is smart and she knows French and they can actually communicate with Hina now, probably.
Oh no.
They can communicate with her properly.
Idiot
Idiot to idiot communication, yeah.
Much like me and Ari's duck-to-duck communication, okay? It makes sense.
Oh boy. So, all right. What are our thoughts about the developments this week, either by themselves or compared to last week? What do people think? Aztec, what did you think?
I have a few tangents to go on, actually.
Okay, what are your tangents?
Okay.
First thing, is it just me or like horribly inconsistent about how these characters are drawn for sizing?
I didn't notice.
So
They're somewhere
probably
between
right,
like
though.
3/4 of June's height and like knee high.
Many of those cases, I notice it, but I don't care because usually it's for like the little chibi slice of life creature funny moments. So I don't really care as
Yeah,
much.
see, like,
but
the thing that
you
made me
notice
think
it when
of
they're
was, like,
fighting
the
too.
whole-
Yeah.
The whole Hina thing, because like she rode a cat and had to jump for the mailbox.
Yeah. Listen, it's fine. It was just a big cat. I thought it was supposed to be like a tiger at first with how big they drew the cat, but it's just just supposed to be a big fat cat that apparently Hina could just ride on,
It was Garfield all the
latch
time, I
onto.
knew it.
I'm a cat, John. I eat. What else you got, Aztec?
The second thing was like they referred to the bunny dude as Laplace's demon.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was trying to
what?
remember what that's a reference to. Like, what does that mean? Because I remember that was referenced in Bunny Girl Senpai as well.
So Laplace's demon is some like hypothetical thing. Like if
I know,
somebody
yeah,
knew
yeah,
the
yeah. You could
position
break
of
this down,
every
second law of,
particle in the world,
Wait,
Wait, whoa,
every particle in existence.
hold up. One at a time, Joe. One at a time. Aztec.
So Laplace's demon is some hypothetical thing where if some creature or whatever knew the exact position of every particle that exists, they'd be able to predict the future in a deterministic universe.
Okay, so the bunny is supposed to be like an all-knowing weird creature demon thing is essentially what
probably
in reference to what she has called him. I don't know if that necessarily means that they are this thing, but they've at least called them this thing, which implies that they feel like that they embody the traits of that thing with like its weird nature, probably. I mean, it does seem to be like, oh, you're supposed to follow me to get close to this thing. I don't remember if he was supposed to be like rhyming or something like that. I didn't know if it was a weird rhyming thing that was supposed to be going on. Which maybe just did not get translated well, or maybe it was being translated and I just didn't notice it. But we did definitely have a go down this rabbit hole moment, literally. So I was like, oh, okay. Weird bunny guy just shows up and says things and just leaves to progress the plot. We just have to have them show up to help find things. So
I like him showing up and then leaving suddenly.
It's
Well, the
what
field
they do.
of N has so many worlds, and the way that the dolls refer to them, it's like these big giant numbers, like world 1,900, blah blah blah, right?
This will be on the quiz, Coda. You gotta know the numbers.
Yeah, you
I don't
gotta
know. I don't know the numbers, but what I do know is that this rabbit can jump through all of them. So I can understand, because I didn't know what Laplace's demon was, and I didn't look it up. I didn't know that it's like a scientific theory, or some conundrum or whatever, you know. But it makes sense now to me with that context. So first of all, thank you. And second, it makes sense if it's like knowing the position of every particle in the world or the universe or something. Yeah, the guy, he goes through every world and he kind of knows where to guide you, even though it's this obnoxious riddle manner. It's like just
Alice in
just take
Wonderland
me.
bullshit.
Yeah, like can I just get a GPS or what? Like be straight with me. But anyway. Okay. That's cool.
Any other complaints, Aztec?
Oh yeah, one more.
What is it? What do you got?
This one's more of a shower thought. So you've got the Rozen Maidens, who you could
Right.
call flower girls, and you've got the people who hold the rings, so ring bearers. Is this just like a wedding allegory?
Oh no.
Oh no!
I don't like you.
Because like father was trying to make the perfect woman, right?
No, that's his daughter. That's his daughter, dude. Stop.
Ari, Sumineko.
I think the moving on.
Oh no!
I think the Rozen Maiden was supposed to be like living doll or something. I think that was the translation. So like it just happens to be rose like a rose
like
flower. I think
Oh.
that was how they translated Rozen Maiden at first, because they explained that like it meant something like living doll.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
Wow.
Like Pygmalion.
Oh. Smart.
All right. Anything else, Aztec?
No, I'm good.
All right. Lady Galaxy, what do you got for us? Thoughts, concerns,
I feel
complaints?
like I kind of interrupted you to give my thoughts earlier. The only thing that I can remember thinking at this point was just kind of, are we sure the dolls are right about the Alice game? Like, they have to kill each other and all that? Because I don't get that feeling.
Well, if that is the rules of the game, they are clearly not following it, except for Suiginto.
They broke it the very first time they had to do anything concerning the Alice game.
So if that is actually how the game is supposed to go, they are very clearly not doing it right. Up until at least now, where Sousei Seki's thing is being taken, because this is the first time we've actually had somebody get absorbed by somebody else. So
here's another thing too. Now that you bring it up, wasn't there something in last week's reading where Suiginto walked through the mirror and was like, Shinku, it's been this many days, this many hours, or whatever since we last met.
Yep.
How did anybody calculate how long that's been?
I think it was supposed to be something like 60 years or something like that.
60 fucking years.
Yeah,
Have they never completed the Alice game before?
The Alice game is a long game.
I don't think they necessarily completed the Alice game before. I think it was something like they were awakened at that time, but
that was the Alice game trial run.
Then they, because I think what happens is if the Alice game is not completed, eventually, if the person who's their owner dies and nobody winds their key, they just go back to sleep again. I think that's supposed to be what happened. But then again, I also don't understand.
Is it just going to be like is it just going to be like they're actually all just supposed to fuse, but they just like some misunderstanding happened or whatever, and they just keep trying to fight each other, kind of?
Maybe.
I
you
don't
know,
know.
you know that makes me remember.
But very when they cry, so maybe that's just my brain going there, but
there's an important question here. How did Shinku come into possession of June? Like June got the survey, circled the survey, put the thing in the drawer, and then suddenly Shinku's there.
He decided to start rapping.
Was this like Shinku choosing him, or was this like somebody sending Shinku to him? Was this Shinku's
who's that person?
parents? Was
Shinku's
this
parents?
well, because they're mind weird shit, and clearly he's got maestro abilities, which means the father's probably a maestro or some shit. I don't know.
And you know, Shinku also, when she talked about like being imperfect because of the arm thing, didn't she bring up something about she was like, father made 7 dolls, but he kept making each doll in the 7 Rozen Maiden series because like there's something about an aspect about them, but it wasn't Alice to him, so he had to make another doll hoping that doll would be Alice. So I don't know, there's so much kind of just floating around about the point of like the Alice games. Like did father say you guys have to fuse? He was trying to already make Alice, you know?
Yeah.
And who is sending these people out? It can't be father.
Because Tomoe just got Hina from like a phone call. The phone call that asked her weird questions, and then she chose the thing. So there's somebody going outside. I mean, it might be the bunny guy. The bunny guy might be a part of sending them out in some weird way.
Yo, what an asshole.
And okay, I'm assuming these dolls, the specific dolls that we have right now for our plot, have probably all woken up at about the same time, because we had the scene where Tomoe answers the phone call. We had the scene where June just circles the paper. The old man, I don't think we knew how long they've had each other, but I'm assuming Soisei Seki wasn't with them for long before she showed up to be like, hey, the master guy who has Soisei Seki, he's bad, we gotta stop him. So these dolls are probably like all freshly awakened, because otherwise I'd imagine if one of them is awake and the other ones aren't, they probably would be trying to find and hunt them down, maybe. So I'm assuming the Alice games. My assumption is the Alice games happens when they're all awake, and if we assume the Alice games can only happen once, because there's technically a world where the Alice games just keep happening and they like form, combine, and then they all, like the Dragon Balls, go to sleep for like years and then come back later on. But it could just be that the Alice games happen, and then if there's no clear winner, everybody who's the current survivors just goes to sleep, and then years later they wake up and then they can try again. But I don't know. We'll find out more about that. I hope. I'm hoping we'll find out more about that.
It would be kind of worrying if we didn't.
Well, because otherwise we're just gonna get like, yeah, these are the Alice games. This kind of started. That's just the plot. You're just supposed to because it's gonna be weird if we're like we were being told that the Alice games is the thing that the dolls all have to do, but then like only 2 of the dolls actually gave a shit about the point of the Alice games. Well, I guess Canaria does too, because Canaria is just like, oh, there's like
all
3 Rosa Mysticas all together, or like,
yeah, she's just a dipshit.
Yeah.
There is an offhand line where Shinku mentioned like an ex servant, and I can't tell if that was like her previous student, so like it happened twice before, or if it was just like some other thing.
Yeah, I was trying to decide if that
that's a
meant
good
like
point.
great grandpa where you add them together, or it's a double negative, so just a current servant.
I would assume with the way they would have translated it, that meant like past servant. How old are these dolls supposed to be? Like, have we established when the creator was supposed to have created them? Like hundreds and hundreds of years ago?
Apparently, at
We
least
know.
60 years ago.
At
Like,
least
at
60
this
years.
point, it could be from like ancient Egypt, and I believe it.
Ancient Egypt. French doll.
Of course. The
Sending each other in Shadow Realm.
The pharaohs
They
invented it.
pioneered
They've invented it.
French Egyptians, you know?
They're like, this is the future.
The famous Alice game.
Their best cultural export.
And these
I
two,
love
they're
Zero's
twins. These two are twins with heterochromia. It's just a pharaoh
Egyptians
sitting
were
down
well known
designing
for
their
love of
OCs
God.
and ball joint dolls.
This is wild. Please. Oh.
All right. Okay, Lady Galaxy, do you have anything else?
I did actually really like that the arm got taken off, and that was like a thing that she was dealing with. It just kind of sucks that it didn't last very long.
Yeah, it was so short.
Yeah.
There's like 3-4 chapters total.
It felt like
It's-
something that could have been like really interesting, both from a character perspective, but also like in terms of making the fight a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
It was annoying
and-
too because it was clearly setting up for like, Shinku to have a whole discovery development cycle, but then she literally just has all of that happen to her off screen, and then Jude comes back and is like, "Hey, I got your arm," and she's like, "Okay, but I've accepted myself now." It's like, "Oh, okay, fuck
She just
me."
needs some tea.
Yeah,
She needs
but
some
then,
tea,
like,
some
you-
damn peace.
But then, like you brought up earlier, I don't know how much of that is like
Yeah, cut out or whatever.
incompetence
Yeah.
necessarily, for lack of a better word, versus like, oh, we just don't have time. We only have like
Yeah.
this many volumes to get through. We just gotta go.
We're serialized. We can't keep hold on these scenes.
As a plot thing, I still enjoyed it in terms of being able to develop June, because it's like the arm, even though it was just kind of randomly left in the void, I guess I'll ignore that bit because clearly if Suiginto stole it, I don't think she would have just left it in the void. But okay, we left it in the void, and then June finds it, and now he's got to fight his like metaphorical like representation of his dream soul thing that's like trapping this thing within it. First he's got to
And
push
see,
through
that
the
was-
Thorny.
thorns. Then he's got to break through the cage. Like I liked that. I like those.
Yeah.
And see, that was my problem with it though, because I was expecting a full okay, so the idea is that the arm is trapped in the cage, and that cage represents June's mental state. So
Yeah, he
clearly,
said
in order
who is
to
the
open
person?
it up, he has to open up to Shinku. Like he has to be
Ah.
open with other people.
Um,
Yeah, I don't
And
think anybody
we didn't get
stole
anything
the
like that.
arm. It was just a pure mental block.
Yeah, but I thought that this would be the gateway to finally finding out June's past, or at least him just opening up somewhat to the others more.
mhm.
No, yeah, that
You
would make a
wanted the
lot. That would make a
characters
lot
to
more
develop.
sense. Yeah, and it makes sense too because they're supposed to be directly connected to each other. This is like you're her master technically, even though she treats you like she's your servant. You're the servant or whatever, but you are still both connected in that. And her arm is trapped within the thing unless you open up to her. But what we got in the end was her defending her and being confident in herself, being like, "You have to fight through me," and then it opens up. So I liked it, but I do agree with you where we definitely should have done it from that angle instead. I feel like it would have been much more powerful for the goal
think
that we're
there's
trying to
also the
have happen
argument-
here. Yeah.
I think there's also the point to be made of it meaning more for Shinku's arc if she does just lose the arm
I would have liked
Yeah.
that.
completely.
Right. And and that's we have Shinku accept the fact that she doesn't have the arm and everything, and it seemed like we had only 2 issues happen from the fact that she didn't have the arm. One, she could not button her shirt and it made her have a crisis about herself. and that's where she got very depressed about that. And then 2 was she tried to block some of the feathers from Suiginto with like one of her hands, which clearly June's like, why the fuck did you try to do that? You weren't going to be able to do that. These are the only 2 things that happened as a consequence of her losing the arm. And then we were just like, all right, your arm's back now. So we had like
really mattered.
So we had like no real time to have like any of the stakes involved with losing the arm. And very little actual development happened as a result that we could physically see on scene of her losing the arm for herself. But even with June, like again, you know, it's
and like the idea of these prideful dolls being defective is an interesting idea, and you could easily tie it into like June and even Tomoe's kind of struggles. That even these perfect dolls can be imperfect. That, you know, they are more human than doll, perhaps. But
I mean, isn't the entire point of the Alice game that they are imperfect?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they're all supposed to be different
form.
pieces of things. Yeah, but
yeah.
I do remember this week especially, there kept being moments between Suiginto and Shinku where like Suiginto was like shitting on Shinku, being like, "Oh, you're so like unseemly right now. You're not very very elegant right now." Like, and losing the arm was like, yeah. So it was like a whole thing between them because they're supposed to be like the most put together of some of the dolls in the group. Them and probably Sosei Seki. Sosei Seki seemed like they had themselves together too, and the other ones are like creatures. Like there's just various levels of creatures. Okay.
There's layers on creatures some of these people are.
God.
Because you know, yeah, I mean, the point of the Alice games is for them to combine to reawaken as Alice, and through that process, you know, they'll all their flaws will all the things that each one of them is individually missing will form together into one big Alice personality person thing. So these 2 are, in my view, it was like they're insulting each other to prove which one is more worthy of having everybody combine into them to become Alice.
Into them, yeah.
Because I mean, essentially, it doesn't matter who combines with who to become Alice, because in the end, they will become Alice. But
right.
In the terms of how the Alice game seems to be structured, it's supposed to be like whoever wins will be the dominant personality, is what it seems to be implying with this. Like they're gaining their powers over time, but I'm assuming we haven't been able to see the effects of the combination yet on the individual dolls. I'm assuming it's not just powers. I'm assuming it's also going to parts of their personality, but we're not going to get to even see that much in terms of that, because so far it's only been Suiginto, who we're barely going to see on screen to see how she is personally, except for when she shows up to laugh at people and throw feathers at them and then leave. And not only that, she absorbed Sosei Seki, who's the very like quiet doll we know the least about, and like just kind of serve the master to like the best of her abilities. And it's like, okay, so even if there was a personality changed with Suiginto, we're not going to notice it from them absorbing them anyways. So if that is what's happening, it's going to be a while before we notice it. We need somebody else to absorb somebody, okay? Shinku, just absorb Hina, the little creature. Absorb the creature already.
Sell it.
Perfect sell.
Get rid of them. Get out of here.
Hina, you gotta take one for the team.
Honestly, I support it.
Shadow, did you have any specific thoughts or concerns from this week?
There's one thing that while it did happen, it would be funny if it didn't. You know what it is?
What's that?
What?
If Grandpa joined the team.
This is vile.
That's for next week, okay? That's for next week. He's going to join the squad. He's going to just show up. Him and Toy are going to show up and just make some dinner. He's going to bring his butler over too, and they're gonna hang out in the. No,
he's actually going to turn out to be Tomoe's grandpa.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
no, I got
Lord.
it though. They're going to stop chilling at June's home. They're gonna chill at the mansion.
Go to the
they get a mansion now, and the Rose Guard. They're gonna hang out there together. Yes.
We're just gonna start bankrolling June's online shopping.
And then naturally, the Rose Garden's gonna where the final fight happens in the big Rose Garden. So obviously.
And then the Rose Maidens will rose up.
This sounds amazing. Actually, I was joking. This is wonderful.
I'm writing peak here. Okay, I'm writing peak.
Exactly.
Iconic.
Shino, how did you feel about this week? Any thoughts, concerns?
done yet.
Oh, did you have another thing? What's your?
Yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
I like to mention that we're halfway through. I'm still not sure what the hell's going on.
Oh my god.
The Alice games are going on. Okay, things are ramping up. We actually have Alice game
There's
stuff
cute
going on.
dolls.
So a doll is dead,
Sometimes
Shadow.
they
A
fight.
doll is dead,
And you're laughing?
and you're
That's
laughing.
what I'm
Dead.
A
That's
doll
all you
lost
need
her
to know,
arm, and another
Shadow.
doll is dead. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm
By the way,
laughing, yeah,
by the way,
She
notably,
got her arm back, so it's fine.
notably, okay, because this is a thing we discussed last week. Notably, Sosei Seki getting absorbed didn't do shit to the old man. Old man's fine. Old man didn't
Grandpa's
have.
doing great.
Oh yeah.
So there's no stakes for the humans involved in this. They don't have to die.
That's a direct contradiction because didn't they say like early on?
Well, so it seemed more like June could die if the things that are fighting them literally go to try to kill him, maybe. And these dolls probably would try to kill the masters because it makes them not have power, I guess. But I guess the dolls can just get absorbed by themselves and then the masters are fine.
Though I will say it did seem at first that they were heavily implying that the master would some kind of danger would befall the master if the Rose Mystica was taken.
This is
That's
where
at least what it felt to me.
this is where we're gonna find out next week. The old man is actually now under control by Sui Ginto. Okay, and he's gonna use his
No, he's
mass
just
fortune.
dead.
Oh, he just
He's
dies
like a
next.
bull.
He just
He's
dies in
gonna
like 2
start-
days. Yeah, okay.
Uh,
When you get house
So
on the
I
case.
had this thought, and now I initially kind of discarded it, and now I'm like almost convincing myself into this.
Oh, no.
Is there a world
Oh no.
where Sui Ginto and Shinku just don't want to fuse and have been like sabotaging the fuse with the Fly of the Alice game?
Because they're too prideful. These bitches.
Hold on.
60
We're
years.
here.
Because otherwise, how did June find the arm?
I
Why
feel
didn't you
like
just leave it?
because Sui Ginto, like she kind of backstabbed Sosei Seki, so that everyone ganged up on her, and she was like, "Oopsie!" So she kind of like dipped. So maybe she just dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe. Because I do remember like they got out of there pretty quickly, but maybe, yeah. I mean, the
I'm sorry,
arm
I
ended
don't
up
mean to go full Pepe Sylvia, but like,
This is an
because
interesting one.
well, because it is important that not only did like Sui Ginto like not take the arm, but also it ended up in a like metaphorical representation of June's soul cage thorn thing somehow.
yeah.
Which is definitely an important deliberate detail and wouldn't just accidentally fall into that, I think. I don't know.
I've connected
So maybe
the
his soul
dots.
protected it then. And then she was like, ow, all these fucking thorns. I'm not dealing with that shit. I'm out.
We solved the Rosen mistake.
I mean,
Sorry,
it
that's
would match
not
your
worth my time.
personality so
Not
far.
worth my time. Well, actually, wait. I remember when they're fighting Sui Ginto, Hina tried to like, or Sui Ginto and Sosei Seki, Hina tried to use her like vines to like grab one of them at some point, and Sui Ginto could just burn them all away with her feathers. I remember that happened.
Oh, that's true. So, but maybe because it's the field of N and it's juice.
But I do agree that like she would just be like, all right, well, I won the fight and the arm's gone now. And
yeah, I
oh,
don't
you
need
know
this
what?
fucking- what am I gonna
You
do
know
with this
what?
arm?
You know what? I
What?
realize now. I realize now. She didn't think it was possible for them to reattach it. She didn't give a fuck what happened to the arm afterwards. She didn't think anybody could reattach it, so
yeah,
she
'cause
just
you're
left it.
broken. But he's a maestro.
Yeah, she didn't
Why
know
did
that
it end up
detail.
in the cage.
That is the detail that I don't understand. It's like, did she purposely put it in that cage, or did she leave it and then being in the field of N naturally
cage.
made it go into the
Ah.
cage because of their connection? I don't know. But either way, I understand now why Sui Ginto wouldn't take the arm herself, because she just assumes once it's attached, you can't attach it onto her unless there's a maestro. And who's gonna be a maestro in this story? Not main character Kun, but it was main character Kun. He
He's
was
not
in
even
fact a
the
maestro.
protagonist.
It was
He's not even. He's side supporting character. Okay.
It's
This is
true.
This side character couldn't do anything to help us out.
Shadow, you got anything else for us?
No, that's everything.
All right, Shino, what were your thoughts and/or concerns for this week?
Yep. So as Sui Ginto's #1 fan, my thoughts
Based?
are I'm kind of curious about like her motive. So there's definitely like the meat father thing, but he's like kind of irrelevant, and it definitely feels like she kind of has a big focus on wanting perfection, which I guess becoming Alice is perfection. But I'm kind of curious where like her master or whatever comes in, because there was like a really cute lullaby scene at the end, and I was like, oh, she has a heart and stuff like that. So it's like, like how is this relevant to her currently not really shown on screen master hospitalized girl?
Does she have a heart though? Because every time I see her turn up to the master, she's just outside the window, like, keep singing.
What do you think? Is like Death Note with a Ryuk and
Yes.
Light? Yeah, make me more apples. No, it's Suiginto. It seems my assumption has been that Suiginto is trying to win the Alice games to help find some way to cure her master. Probably, I'm assuming that's my assumption. But
What does the nobody ever says really what power does the
What do you win?
combining into Alice? Yeah, like other than just being perfect for father. Or
I have
trying
a
to
guess
win his
about
love
this.
back.
I have a guess
Okay.
about this because many of their powers are related to dream world stuff. So I'm assuming Alice is able to manipulate either a lot of dream stuff but have it be directly connected to reality, or something else about like reality bending stuff or whatever. To the point where once you become Alice, you can make either one big wish thing come true, or like just control reality in general. And in some kind of way, I'd imagine, with my other theory being that once Suiginto becomes Alice, they would it's just the 7 dolls, the 7 Dragon Balls, and then like you grant the wish, and then they separate for like 60 years, and then the games continue. Okay, maybe
Games go on.
Maybe. When did this come out? When did Dragon Ball start? Dragon Ball started way before this, I'm pretty
60
sure.
years ago.
Back in 1907.
What does she have for us, Shino?
Not too much else, but I guess my gay rating is gayer than last week.
Base?
I would say the arm scene is the gayest scene in this section.
Base?
I'm so real for this.
The punch to the face. This too is Yuri.
This is a love tap, baby.
I know this is a thing.
Hey, she's saying it's a sacred bond as she punches her, okay? That says something. There's something there, all right?
Surely.
The sacred punch.
Connected them.
Oh, okay. Coda, what do you got for us? Thoughts, concerns, ideas?
Coda English.
Chewing sound effects?
I'm just thinking. Okay. What's the new doll's name?
Canaria.
Canaria? Okay.
The smartest of the dolls, I'll have you know.
The smartest of the 5-year-olds, yes.
On the cover art for the next volume, she's orange.
Okay.
I think her power is going to be Orange Blossom. And the master of Suiginto keeps singing this melody about orange blossoms or orange flower or something. So I'm wondering if that's connected.
Are you saying they were ex-lovers?
I'm not making any of these claims.
Are you saying they were ex?
Hold on.
Go and explain yourself.
All I'm saying is I feel like something about Canaria is going to be connected with
The other Rozen Maidens? Probably, yeah.
how dare you, about the master of Suiginto especially. That's all I have to say. That's all my thought process is. Orange and orange together make orange. That's my connection.
Is that how colors work?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's just a theory.
I need to go get my finger
My
paints
gay
to figure this
theory.
out. I don't know. I need to get my finger paint out.
How dare you?
Any other thoughts, concerns, prayers?
Prayers?
Yeah, what do you
I
want to happen?
pray.
What are you hoping to happen?
I want more of chapter 16. Like, I need more face punches. I
This
need
is
more people
true.
fucking like
I
chopping each
concur
other
on
up.
this.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I
Fury.
need some goddamn fights. I'm sorry, everyone.
How much some
But-
people punch each
No,
other?
you're not sorry. Don't.
I'm an
don't lie to
action
us.
junkie. Okay, I like explosions, and I like people getting beat up, and I like people talking shit while they're beating other people up. Okay, and I kind of need these dolls to do that.
I
more.
concur on this too.
Yeah, unless Hina Ichigo.
Damn, Hina Ichigo hater over here.
She's
Sorry.
French. What do you
What if
expect?
Ichigo's the one being punched though?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, I'd laugh.
This is
She'd be like, "Wah!" And it's like, well, why don't you do something then? Fucking limp ass.
Yeah, you really showed that 5-year-old.
That's all I have to say. That's
All right. Ari, what are your thoughts, concerns, whatever? What do you got for us?
All right. Well,
Oh,
Lord.
cracks knuckles, breaks out the essay.
Let's fucking go.
Not the
This
whiteboard.
really is an Andy moment.
Oh.
it's very serialized. That is a after reading so much shonen shit, you can really tell deserialization traits about it, where it wants to be slice of life, but it also wants to get the plot rolling, but also like it hasn't really set up the plot in some places, so it kind of has to speed run things, but then it also kind of wants to go back to the slice of life at parts, and then they're just children, so let's just have them chill out for a bit, but also there is a overarching plot sometimes, but we're gonna do some lore drops at other times, and it really, like I said earlier, it does really feel like they like fleshed out this world beforehand and then just either forgot or just didn't know the best ways to explain some of that lore, some of their ideas and stuff. Maybe it was time constraints because, again, serialization, you usually have like 30 to 40-ish pages a week or a month. I forget if this was monthly or weekly. But there are constraints with that serialization format, and I like it. I like it, but it does feel like they needed some kind of stronger editor or just overall narrative assistant.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure what this was printed in, but I know from that time frame they should have had at least a few editors, because it is like I think it's a duo group, Peach Pit, but if this was published in a magazine, then they would have had other editors that they would correspond with for it, most likely. But I find some of it kind of weird, like with Tomoe, where she's just kind of here sometimes. I expected her to be a bigger character, like still definitely a side character, but not like just shows up once every 2 volumes,
Yeah, she's living her own life.
Yeah, like I assumed that she would just regularly drop by the house as like a background character with Nori, just kind of there sometimes, not just once in a blue moon. Especially because she is June's age. She likes Hina Ichigo still. Like, she's still very fond of her. So that part kind of feels like they just didn't know what to do with her, really. Though I do like them bringing her back and, like, having her talk to June about their school and about her fears, essentially. Just opening up to him. I like that part. Yeah, we already discussed the arm stuff and how I felt they kind of dropped the ball on that part with the whole cage thing. So I think that's pretty much it. Like I like it. I really love the character designs and stuff. They're very reminiscent of that time. But that's such a compliment. I mean that as a compliment. They're very iconic. But yeah, I think that's it.
I'm surprised they didn't go with 2 plot methods in terms of like what some other stories I would expect to have done in similar kind of situations with the kind of scenario that we're writing here. One being Tomoe being the first master that June had to encounter in terms of their dolls fighting, but then they end up like teaming up and just like, you know, Hina Ichigo is still under Tomoe's control and they just kind of hang out together and they work together to figure out the Alice games together. We didn't do that at all. We just immediately gave up Hina Ichigo from Tomoe, and now Hina Ichigo is with June. And then Tomoe just kind of shows up occasionally.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm surprised we didn't go that route. The other route that I'm surprised, and I thought it was going to be coming soon with Suisei Seki, was Nori getting one of these dolls, controlling one of the dolls too.
Yeah.
Why was that not even considered at all? And by the way, we have
I guess
three
because
of these...
eventually she would have to get rid of her Rozen Mistaker.
I guess, but like, it seems like... Can you just choose to give that up at times, or does it like... How does it work to give up the Rose Mistaker? Because Tomoe...
it does seem to be like a thing you can choose, because Tomoe gave hers up.
Yeah, Tomoe gave hers up, and then the old man's was taken from the Sosei Seki, and neither of these two people are dead.
Are we sure the old man's alive?
Did Tomoe?
Well, I know Tomoe is alive, so I...
Did
Unless-
Tomoe give hers up, or was it that
It was
Ichigo
technically...
like, I'm breaking the contract because I don't want to kill her?
It was technically that Tomoe was getting absorbed by Hina Ichigo. I guess because Hina Ichigo was more powerful than her.
These
and
aren't
was just
really
sapping
strong
all of her energy or
contracts.
something.
You know, like when I think of a contract, I think something intentional needs to be broken and not just willy-nilly stuff.
The contract seems to just
He's a
be
5-year-old
you have agreed to allow me to sap your powers for my own abilities.
Yeah, and then when I'm
And
done
then there's
with
nothing
you,
else
I
attached
choose
to it. Yeah.
I get to drain you of your energy, and you get
You get
It's a
to be
bad
commanded to
trade.
make me tea at times.
So it's just marriage. It's fine.
you get slice of life moments with creatures. Okay, that's what you get out of this.
No.
I take all of your life force. You get occasional funny moment. That's what you get.
occasional comedy.
What were you gonna say, Ari?
I'd make that deal.
I would like to note that this was serialized in a monthly manga.
Yep.
Or monthly
It's
magazine.
like Burrs or something.
I was gonna make the joke. Why did you just shut up?
I just said that.
When the
The
just- I just-
magazine was
You just
called
said Burrs.
Comic Burger. That was the joke.
I just said the Burrs thing. Why were
What's
you
so
yelling at
funny
me?
about a burger?
It's comic
You deserve to be
burger.
yelled at.
What did I do?
Burger.
So it was called a monthly comic Burrs when it was actually published in it, but it was previously called Comic Burger.
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 Comic Burger. And then I went to
Comic
Tokyopop.
Burger.
So and then I went to Tokyopop, and that's the real
sounds-
joke.
That sounds like if like some foreign like show or series or something was trying to come up with like what's a publisher for American comics?
Burger.
Comic Burger.
That's what I'm naming my publishing
Americans
company.
love burgers.
those Americans
Off-brand
do it
Marvel.
again.
If I ever make
Burger.
I'm gonna make a publishing company. Call it Burger Books.
The Comic
Call it
Burger
Books.
Cinematic Universe.
Comic Burger. Burger manga.
Y'all making me hungry.
Do you think that was the problem? Do you think they published this in a cooking magazine?
Shut up!
This is why they talk
Oh,
about
it was
tea
in
and burgers and stuff so much. Is this you know?
Strawberry Daifuku.
What? This is the same magazine that released Italia.
No.
Listen, they talk about. Listen,
Finally,
I think I
Italy
have to
wins
leave.
again.
Anyway, moving on.
so we're gonna read Italian next, right? It's part of.
Moving on.
Oh
moving
my
on.
God, we should.
Something wrong with Italia.
I remember in like middle and high
Moving
school.
on. So Rozen Maiden.
So, do you have any other thoughts, comments, concerns about Rozen Maiden?
Not for
Resume
me.
Maiden?
Yeah, Rozen Maiden. Did I
You
say
said
it wrong?
Resume Maiden.
Shut
said-
up, Coda.
I did not.
You said it.
Thank you. All right. Do you have anything else?
I'm done.
Insanity. That's what it sounds like.
I like these 2 volumes. I thought they could have been done better. That's it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's definitely. It makes me really wonder. I mean, I shouldn't be locking in this like wonder right now. I should wait until we're done with this first series because there is a sequel series which is also called Rozen Maiden, like the same thing, but it's not supposed to be a remake. It's supposed to be a direct sequel. I don't know why they've chosen that naming scheme for it, but there's probably reasons. Maybe they're like, technically it's a sequel because the Alice games continue, but maybe we'll have references to these games, but it'll be a whole new set of people, and we'll tell it the way that we wanted to, at a pace that we want to. I actually don't know how long the sequel series is. It might be as long as this one, but I have to assume at least if they did a sequel series, they probably had more time to plan out how they wanted that sequel series to go as opposed to this one.
Allegedly.
I would hope, yes. You know.
If you want an image to show on stream, I just posted one of.
Let's see.
I really like the. I still really like the texturing on the art in these.
It's very nice.
Yeah,
They have
for
a very
sure.
shoujo-esque art style for the eyes, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Comic Magazine Burger, you get content like this.
Why do you gotta say it like that, bro?
Monthly Comic Burger.
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 Hamburger. Didn't win for my server.
This is the face of the same woman that did the punch. The Sacred Bond punch of Yuri.
There's 2 sides.
Absolute Yuri.
This too is Yuri.
This too. This is what it means to play the Alice games, okay? This is what it means.
Damn.
Sometimes you drink tea, sometimes you lock in. This is just how it goes.
That madness do return.
It does. It does. And next week, we're going to find out all about our smartest Rozen Maiden, self-proclaimed genius, Kanaria. Self-proclaimed genius. Will we find out about the 7th Rozen Maiden along with her?
I hope so.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe.
We're halfway through the
Real
series.
50-50 shot.
We're halfway through. So what was my guess? My guess was Kanaria is immediately going to join the cast. Not even going to be a problem for us. But then the 7th Rozen Maiden is going to be who they have to, a different Rozen Maiden they have to fight against. And then somebody's going to get absorbed. Probably Suiginto yoinks a Rosa Mystica again. Actually, maybe not because we don't want her to be too. We don't want her to be too like off balance. So Shinku's probably going to take the next one. You know, we're going to take turns with our 2 leading Rozen Maiden dolls, taking each of them. It's going to be like either Shinku takes the next one or Suiginto yoinks the next one again, and then Shinku agrees with the other dolls that they have to let Shinku absorb them to go for the final fights, and then they do that, and then something's going to happen. The Alice doll is still going to happen. We have to see the Alice doll. We have to see Alice no matter what, and it still has to be a thing. But what happens afterwards? Does the world end? Does everybody live happily ever after? It seems like humans are just fine from the Alice games. It seems like everybody's just fine. Honestly, we should just like talk to Suiginto and be like, "Hey, you doing this to like heal your master? Okay, we could just do that. It sounds like it's a good cause." I don't
even like this doll anyway. Keeps asking for tea.
Dang.
Damn.
We'll see what happens. I'm like enjoying bits of this. I will say this is still the most annoying to read technically, if this makes sense. Like, we had to read old ass fan translations that were just getting shit wrong at first from different groups. At least the second group knew it was a Rosa Mystica, not a Rose Mistaker.
No,
but they were still fucking a lot of things up with their sentences too, just entire words wrong. Wasn't as obvious as the last one, but it happened and your brain just corrected for it. And now we got the Tokyopop scans, which, okay, now we have to deal with it scanning physical pages, but that's fine. It's still readable. But now we got to deal with shit like them translating the Desu at the end of Suiginto stuff as yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Capiche?
Like
It's not always a question mark.
Yes.
it makes it unfortunate that So Seiseki was the one to get absorbed, not Sui Seiseki.
Damn.
Which
but
it's also unfortunate too
yeah.
because I wanted to have more time with So Seiseki. We didn't get any time with So Seiseki. This is bullshit.
sorry.
Seiseki was like, Seiseki, you're finally grown up and you can do shit independently. I'm gonna die now. Ah. I was like, why? You're the
take my
coolest.
Rosa Mystica before anything else happens. And she's like,
Yoink.
well,
Oh,
but
yoink.
oh no, not so good.
It's like you
Oh,
couldn't
no.
have a grip to save your life, girl. God. It's so terrible.
My
I
main question is: are we gonna find out about June's past next week or the last week? When do we find out about his trauma? When's the real
I
trauma?
hope we
It should
revealed?
be
never
next
learn.
week.
we
I
never
hope
learn.
we never learn.
We never like that's also a possibility.
It's
Just
just an
never comes up.
interpretation. Okay.
It's just
Yeah,
never
it's like,
important.
it's like Umineko. All the pieces are there. You just gotta solve it.
Yeah, just figure it out yourself. Yeah.
God damn. I need to see his parents come back and be like, oh my God, you're doing the Rosa Mystica.
Oh, I remember back in my day when we did those games too. Oh, that was actually supposed to be for me, but we weren't home at the time, so you got caught up in the little games this year. Well, anyways, we're
This
going out.
year. Mom, Dad, what do you mean?
It does make me-
His parents are like 80 years old.
It does make me wonder how long the events have been happening. Because it feels like a at least a couple of months or so.
Yeah,
It could be a couple weeks. Who knows?
it's actually
I
all. It's
guess.
been like
That's exactly
like
2
5
weeks.
days. It's been 5 days. Yeah.
The D&D problem.
How long's it been? What year is it, Grandpa?
It's been 60 years.
God damn. No wonder I feel old and creakily. It all makes sense now.
You are the youngest here.
I'm dust then.
I think you're just a fossil, actually.
Fossilized.
All right. Does anybody have any final things that they want to talk about before we wrap up for this week? What do you got?
I do.
One thing that I highlighted. Which one's the French one again? I forgot the name.
Hina
Hina
Ichigo.
Ichigo.
Hina Ichigo.
Yeah, her happy spell.
She got a happy spell. She's got.
Oh
she's got a
yeah,
happy spell.
head
It's just like Omineko.
Oh.
It's just like
I will say
Omineko.
that was kind
Fine.
This is just like Umineko.
Look, we have the perfect daughter. We have the happy spell.
the
We get
perfect
the-
daughter.
But yeah.
Let's get the recording
Hopefully
last.
next week we'll get some more like backstory on him. I was I wasn't expecting all of it this week, but I was expecting
So
more
the fact
than
that we
just a
got
few more
none.
glimpses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did appreciate that we got development towards him metaphorically with the whole cage thing. It could have been done a little
Yeah.
better, but we got something with that. But we didn't get really any details about what exactly happened with him, other than hints with Tomoe talking with him about how people have expectations of us, and we have to just put ourselves away, our happiness away, in order to meet their
Mhm.
expectations or whatever. Because
We
I
got more
don't know.
crumbs! Yay!
yeah, there you go.
Crumbs. Oh lordy.
What if his trauma just gets dealt with off screen?
Oh
Just
god,
like Shinku.
just like Shinku. He just looks
no.
at next week's reading. You go to the first chapter. He just looks in the camera in the second panel and he goes,
Stop it.
"I've accepted
I'm going
myself
back
and
to
my
school."
imperfections now. I'm going to school. Goodbye, Rozen Maidens."
The first panel is the stereotypical bread in the mouth, like hand on the door, walking out the door. I'm off to school.
But
And then
he's
that's the
He bumps
second
into
panel.
Asagi.
But actually, he's like running out the door with the toast in his mouth, but he's also got like the briefcases of all the dolls. He takes the
Yeah.
dolls to school. All the dolls get their
They're
own
all in
seat
his
in the class.
backpack, like poking out of his backpack.
Hey,
I'll
hey,
drop
Peach
out of
Pit.
kindergarten first.
Peach Pit, get us
Okay,
on the
this
phone,
would
okay?
stop, though.
Reach out to us. We
Get
got
up on the
we're cooking here,
phone.
Peach Pit. We're cooking here for you, Peach Pit.
Look, the secret.
What we're
agent
cooking is
of
inedible, but we
Grandpa
are
is
undeniably
Napoleon.
cooking.
We're making that good
making
strawberry
that strawberry
daifuku,
daifuku,
okay?
baby.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yes.
Hina Ichigo would be proud.
Ew.
Well, they-
I have something I need
Okay.
a chapter where they finally discuss Shinku and the probably 3 other ones, the dolls, to be like, which one of you is finally going to give yourselves up and let me absorb you?
Because this got to happen at this point.
It has to happen, and I
Love
need
God.
actual, like, I need existential tension and crises in making this decision. It's not gonna happen, but I
Oh, it's
want
gonna
it
take at
to.
least 2
It's
chapters.
well, I know you're saying it hoping that it's going to be Hina that gets absorbed, but unfortunately it's not going to be Hina that gets absorbed. It's going to be Suisei Seki. Suisei Seki has had her whole arc happen already. So
I will
Suisei Seki would
die.
be the one that gets absorbed because
I will
Hina
die.
What if
Right.
the power of
Who gets
friendship is
absorbed?
stronger than the power of
Oh.
cannibalism?
So, like, if anybody's getting
Actually, I'll
absorbed
get
next, it's
absorbed
going to be
off-screen.
Suisei Seki. Suisei Seki's job is done. So, unless Kanaria is getting absorbed next for plot reasons of the fact that she just got introduced, it's going to be Suisei Seki. Unfortunate. That's my guess. I'm locking it in.
Please.
That's the big brain move,
God,
clearly.
if you love me, you'll answer my prayers.
Like Coda, I
Fun bag.
understand. Okay, I'll still like Frenchies.
This is all I had to say.
Amazing. Anybody else have anything else before we wrap up for this week?
Oh, I have
Alright,
one
so-
more thing.
All right, what do you got? Columbo
Just one
over
more.
here.
Tomoe, all Tomoe had to do to keep explaining herself for entering is being like, I have to give you fucking homework. Because that's what the first thing she said the first time she was like, I turned up because I was told that I gotta give you homework. True.
When she was first introduced, I thought they were going to introduce her as like a love interest for June. And then
Me too.
didn't happen at all, which I was kind of glad for
Nothing.
because that would have been like kind of too cliche of what they would have done. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do
I
that.
mean, it still might.
It still
Chat.
could that is a worry
Yeah.
because
Still
it still
could
Like
could
go
a
there.
motherly-ish, I feel like, because she's like, I'm so responsible and it makes me happy to help people, kind of like how your big sister does, but I'm not
Chat.
dopey like her.
This implies that
I'm
you
different,
think any
okay?
woman-
I did kind of think it would be a sort of harem situation where
Harem
one of
with
the
who?
dolls might be jealous of Tomoe or something, but it's
Oh,
not, which
no.
is nice.
No. Why would
What
you?
are you
do
saying
that
no?
with the
Because
doll?
that's like one of the most common shonen tropes
It's,
ever.
yeah, it
I've
definitely is.
never with these.
That
like,
is literally one of the most
toddler
common shonen
dolls.
tropes ever.
If this was written today, it would absolutely be he's got a harem
would.
of like Rozen Maiden dolls, and like the real life girl, and like his sister is also
It's a
part of the
real life
harem.
girl.
Literally, all the
No.
other characters are part of the harem. Even the old man is a part of the harem somehow. Like
Oh, hold on.
June is
I
basically
love
Kirito.
that.
Okay,
I love that.
every
Wait,
woman he
okay.
comes into contact with falls for him, and this is a whole thing. He's basically
Instead of a
Kirito.
sword, it's a sewing needle. You know.
He has dual sewing needles. He's
Hey, Chat.
Sitcom stuck reference.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
Shadow. What were you saying, Shadow?
100 Rozen Maidens that really love
Yeah,
you.
the 100 Rozen Maidens. We only got 7 of them from now until we start mass producing them. Okay, we mass produce Hina Ichigos.
When are they gonna fight like Momentary Lily? That's when this will be the
Oh, God.
best.
Nobody's fighting like
This is the
Momentary
real
Lily.
Rosa Mistaker.
The real mistaker.
It's true.
The
It's
real
true.
mistake was fighting me along the way.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week's discussion. We made it to the 2-hour mark, so I think we're good to wrap this up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming along to the discussion for Rozen Maiden Volumes 3 and 4. And next week, we're going to be discussing Volumes 5 and 6. So make sure to read your chapters on those. By then, Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we will be here conversating about all this. We'll be doing it on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick live on stream. If you would like to communicate with us in the Discord, where we talk about the stuff that we're reading, or would like to be a part of these discussions, you can do that by going to discord.wolfborg.com, and you can find links to all the stuff and more at wolfborg.com. So go ahead and do all of that if you are interested in being a part of any of this or other content, like streaming stuff. I think this weekend's plan for Saturday and Sunday is we're going to be watching the remainder of the Winter 2025 anime seasonals. So we will be watching the first episodes of everything new that's come out in the past few days, which has been a lot. So we're going to be watching like 8 episodes on Saturday, 8 episodes on Sunday. It's going to be about like probably 4 hours to watch through all of them. And we're going to be starting those on Saturday and Sunday at like 3 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're interested in those, again, discord.wolfborg.com, and you get to watch a whole bunch of anime episodes 1 with us if you're interested. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I appreciate you all. And join us next week for more Rozen Maiden. What will happen? Who will live? Who will die? Who will get screen time? Will we get more Weird Doll names? Will we get more Weird Doll lore that is then ignored for time? Will we advance Tomoe's plots? Will Hina say anything else? Will the old man come back? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Rozen Maiden. Because they might also be Dragon Balls too. Will they be Dragon Balls?
RZ.
There you go. Bye, gamers. Bye, stream. Bye, stream.